Hello everyone, and welcome to Campus Channel. We're coming to you live from rainy Paris this afternoon, joined by the Grenoble School of Business and their Masters in Fashion, Design, and Luxury Management. This is your opportunity to ask any question you want to the program director. She's here with us right now, so don't hold anything back. Ready? We're gonna have some fun. And joining us today is Nicoletta Giusti, who is the program director for this program at the Grenoble Graduate School of Business. Nicoletta, thank you very much for being with us today. We're going to give you 1 minute to introduce the program. It's called The Speech. Shh. Please.
So welcome everybody and thank you for inviting me here. This program is like any other program in fashion design and luxury management, but it is much better than the others, of course, because we are quite aware of the fact that for forming people are real professionals for this kind of fields, and we have to give very specific knowledge, and we will provide it. And very specific knowledge and contacts in the industry, in those fields, and a scientific understanding of those fields, which are what I call in French milieu, so very closed fields in which you cannot enter to without being an insider, even if you start from the beginning and as a student. So it's my role and the role of the other professionals and teachers, both academic and professionals who are teaching in this program, to provide you the necessary specific, very specific knowledge.
Perfect, awesome. That was the easy part. Now it's going to get a little more difficult. It's time for the face-to-face.
Dernier manche. 15.
Remember, this is your opportunity to ask the questions that you need to get asked for this program. So don't hold anything back, okay? Let's go to question number 1.
Well, fashion design luxury, no.
Will you read the question for us?
Isn't your approach a little bit wide? Fashion design and luxury, not at all, because they are interconnected fields, even if they are different. And it is my role of academic to provide you to give you the necessary theoretical knowledge to see all the differences, but also the superpositions within these in real, very entrenched different fields.
So would you say that this is kind of the luxury end of fashion, because there's fashion, you know, that's not luxury and there's fashion that's luxury. So is this kind of for the higher end of fashion and design, maybe?
Not necessarily, because we have students who are oriented also in learning everything about fast fashion, etc. And it's up to me and to our teachers to explain all the differences. Just we need to know that we are inside what they call the cultural industries, so knowledge intensive, and the three of them, fashion, design of course, and luxury, are also design intensive. The relationship to time is the main difference between the three fields, indeed.
So the relationship of time, can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, because fashion, it's a compulsory innovation, okay? And you have to repeat it many times a year. We are actually between the two old, fall, winter, and spring summer collections. Then they made the so-called croisière and pre-fall, etc. So they went up to 4. But in fast fashion, indeed, you have two main collections, but they can change and innovate, so to provide a new product every week or every 2 weeks, So it's a very repetition. We are in repetition. Design, it's innovation, and it is design indeed what how can I explain? It is the underlying, that method indeed, and the real link between luxury and fashion. And design is a method for innovating, and so it has no real relationship with the time, except the fact that through design you're able to get in touch with the spirit of the time. So design is a method to collect everything that's in the air and to transform it into products.
This is a really interesting point, because it's true that designers kind of have to be almost like looking into the future because of the time it takes for the production of their product to get to market.
Definitely. There used to be one of the tenors of the discipline of sociology, but also of fashion studies, Herbert Blumer, an American sociologist, who used to say that fashion designers translate the spirit of the time into fashion, design of garments, So, but this is valuable for all the designers, okay indeed.
Awesome.
And luxury has a, it's at the other end, because you innovate in order to create a product that will become a classic, So it will become an endless, an infinite kind of,
This is getting very heady for me, and I enjoy this conversation very much. But we got to keep moving here. We're gonna have to go and film some
technology and innovation in the fashion design business. Well, this is one of the key points, because fashion design and luxury have to deal with innovation. It's a core business indeed. Even if you probably produce different kinds of innovations, and the goal of cultural industries is to reproduce innovation.
And is this, and how? So, do you guys teach how technology fits into these fields as well, or is it not really more? Is it not really operational, more kind of strategic?
Well, no, we have for this kind of classes professionals. So no, it will be also operational.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure that we have both academic, scientifically correct education, but also a lot of professional experience, because all of our students are passionate about fashion, and so this is the important point. They want to know what happens in the companies. So that's why I'm very, very careful to provide both this kind of information.
Sure, but are they getting hands-on, experience with the types of programs that designers are using to make their sketches or their
not really
products?
programs, because we for managers, but we have also a design class, and they make something.
Okay, they do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I have to imagine to be able to manage that design process, you have to know what goes into it.
Definitely, and with me also, I'm teaching fundamentals in fashion design. I'm very careful, since my own, discipline is sociology, and I've been, as a scholar, as a researcher, I've been studying the creative processes inside the fashion houses for years and years. And so with me, I'm very careful to provide all this kind of knowledge, getting deep into the creative process and how to deal with creative people,
Yeah, they're not very easy to deal with from time to time, as my boss will tell you for sure. Will you go to the next question, please?
Work experience is not compulsory, so how to be sure to convince you? Start with a good book of fashion history, and start with watching all the collections of the main fashion designers. Read the New York Times, Kathy Horin, or tell me that you know who are the best editors in fashion world. And also, I don't know, let me know that you know everything about luxury products or cigars, etc., and that you know all the stakeholders of the main luxury groups in the world. So that would be fine.
So using examples when they're doing the interview and the application process, using examples, showing what they're interested in, showing that even though they don't have work experience, but there is an interest that they have personally taken beyond their studies.
It is not important the skills that you have, but the motivation, the potential that you have. This was one of the last issues of Harvard Business Review. And you know what are the questions that I make? What is your favorite movie, and what is your favorite book? So be very careful in selecting the right book. But I also ask, what is the last movie that you have seen, and what was the last book that you have been reading? And it is not necessarily Anna Karenina, but I like if someone has read Tolstoy, because it's also very important for fashion and for culture. But it could be also, I don't know, Harry Potter, provided it's very well motivated.
Right. So if somebody can show the motivation behind why they really love this book, that's where they're going to impress you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it impresses me the fact that you are you like culture and you're really keen on culture, because otherwise you cannot understand anything in those fields, really. Definitely.
Excellent, excellent. Well, let's go to the expert question now. Will you read for us? Out
Ooh.
loud.
Yeah, the GGSB's expertise in technology and innovation management is well known. It is relevant to the fashion and design industry. What has this got to do with technology? Wow! Can I show my shoes? I don't know. It's a bit odd, but you see, I have Nike shoes. If this is, advertising. But so this is what technology has to do with fashion. You can't do without technology nowadays in fashion and in luxury too. How many tech garments do we have now in the urban dress? They were coming from sportswear, but they were coming also from a very deep research in technology. And that's why I want to develop, it is my policy for next year, to develop the contacts with the companies involved both in sportswear, but also in technological innovation for fashion and design, because it's the very fact that we have a different way of dressing in 2015 comes from the fact that we had a lot of technological innovation.
And are all of the luxury brands looking at this direction?
Yeah, look at Polo Ralph Lauren now. Look at Nike, which is very close to me. For instance, Nike and Apple are two very very good companies to be compared, because indeed they are almost like fashion brands both, even if they are not just selling garments, and even if Apple is not selling garments at all, But look at the last manager that Apple was hiring. They were all coming from fashion. One of them were coming from Yves Saint Laurent. So,
Right.
you know,
It was the head of Burberry, right? That they brought in for the VP
there are
of retail.
three of them coming
Yeah.
from fashion. Don't actually remember the names, but it's amazing.
Well, that's also for the retail strategy.
And but no. But this the story of Swatch. Swatch comes from a lot of patents, because the industry of watches in Switzerland was, having a very bad moment because of the competition from Japan, from Casio, etc. in the 70s. So one of the main manufacturers of mechanism, who did not need indeed to compete with the Japanese, decided to do something. So they studied how to make a non-expensive plastic watch. They patented a lot of stuffs from the fact that you can make a watch just in one mold, okay?
Right.
And then they weren't able really to sell it, to find the right way to sell the Swatch well. So they hired a manager from FIT, from fashion, formed at the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York.
Okay.
And we have a Swatch now.
So you're right. So the technology innovation is it's the same thing.
Relevant at
Almost.
all, yeah.
So it's good. So the Grenoble's strong background in technology gives you an even better vantage point to train
Definitely,
students.
and I'm working, since I am a researcher too, I'm working closely with my colleagues from Grenoble who are making research in order to, try to find something to make together in order to let the program advance, also taking advantage from the research.
It'll be interesting to see how you do that. Let's go to the next question.
What do you call creative fundamentals of fashion and design? Do we get fashion and design courses? Well, it's not really creative fundamentals, but it's fundamentals of fashion design. Yes, you do. Not in the sense that you are going to design garments or objects, except you have a class for this with my colleague Jose Ghosh, who used to be a product designer and industrial designer at Philips. So she knows what she teaches. But with me, you are going to learn all the basics that you need to know in order to be perceived as an insider into the fashion industry.
So, for example, what's one of those basics that you need?
All, for instance, why Yves Saint Laurent is so important in the industry, you know, and who copied something from Saint Laurent. I will show you everything, you know. Fashion history is very important.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm quite aware of that. So you have, you know, not many things, but some petty details that will be recognized as very important from the insiders.
And do students get like free samples from Yves Saint Laurent, or do they get like free perfume and stuff?
I get some from Margiela because I got very good relationships with them. So tomorrow I'm going to see the Galliano collection, you know, inside the Margiela's house. So if I can get some, I will.
Oh, you bring them back for the students. That's really nice. Let's go to the next question.
What would be the difference between this program and any other program in fashion luxury management? Well, many differences. First of all, we have a lot of contacts, real contacts with the companies. And as a program director, I'm coming from research. And I've been making research since my PhD time, you know, so very, very long ago, you know, in the Jurassic kind of. And so you know that I was inside the companies as a researcher, but also I got a bit of professional experience. So, you know, I tried to translate all of this into the program. So you will have, you know, research from a very, very well-known and reputed school for research, and you have professionals. We are working, you know, our marketing teacher in the London for the London campus is coming from Guerlain. We have another teacher who teaches in the 3 classes, in the 3 campuses, who used to work for Dior, for Cartier, and now she works in Geneva for watches. You know, so...
well, that's interesting. I interview a lot of schools and obviously here, and one thing that you've really stood out is this idea of the culture, not just fashion history, but culture in general. Does that factor into your teaching as well?
Yeah, definitely. Ask my students. You know, they have a very long list of books and movies also to watch, because you cannot understand fashion photography, for instance.
Right.
But in order to be a good manager, you need to understand also photography. You need to watch, you know, to read Vogue Italia, which is the most important magazine in the world, and to know, to be aware, to be able to analyze, you know, what they say and what they put in the pictures.
We have time for one more question.
Yeah. It is necessary to be skilled in fashion, luxury or design beforehand. What are the prerequisites? On what basis do you select applicants for the MSc? Motivation and culture, I would say.
Okay. And so showing your motivation, what's an example of something that people can do to show their motivation?
To show their motivation, not just saying that they used to have a internship in the field, but for instance, letting me know what's their idea of fashion and why do they want to enter into this world, okay? And it's not just because you're a fashion victim, because very frequently the real professionals in fashion, they don't, I can explain, well, they're not really fashion victims. They are more than this.
They're more than that. They've risen above.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Nicoletta, for your time. We want to give you just a second if you have any points that you wanted to add for a conclusion.
Just say that I will be very pleased to receive some further questions from you through our officers from the admissions, or directly to write into one of my coordinators. And if you are around in Paris, just come and see me at the campus. We will be very happy to receive you and to introduce you to our great students who are right now in the campus. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys for watching very much. I think she kind of summed up everything we needed to say. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with them. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.